The Deer Hair Sneaky Pete. Start by loading a bobbin with Semper Fly, Nano Silk, and 6/0 in white, and Uni 6/0 in black. Start and then mash the barb of your hook. Here, a Mustad 3366 in size 6. Go to your deer hair. Pinch off a clump that's about 1 inch in diameter and cut that free from the hide. Then take a comb and start combing out all the underfur and short fibers. Then go ahead and take scissors and cut the tips off the butts. Start your hook in your vise and start your nano silk thread right behind the eye. Build up a nice thread base between the eye and where the hook starts to bend. Bring your thread to just past the halfway point. Grab your deer head and position it right on top of the hook. Take a collecting wrap of thread and then another wrap and pull it tight, splaying out to deer hair. Apply pressure, making sure not to break your thread. Weave your thread in between the clump and bring it in front of the clump of deer hair, onto bare shank. Then go and cut an identical clump of deer hair free from the same hide. Strip out all the underfur and cut off the tips, just like before. Place that clump in front of the first, and then again, take a collecting wrap and then another wrap to pinch it down and splay it around. Weave your thread through the clump and bring it to bare shank, just right behind the eye. Then use a half-hitch tool to push the deer hair back and half-hitch your thread to secure it. Once your thread is secure, go ahead and take scissors and cut your thread off. Then, take a razor blade, invert your vise, and cut a nice, straight bottom. Then, re-invert your vise and cut at a 45-degree angle from the eye up to the back of the deer hair clump. Then at the same angle, cut that same angle at the sides. You should get a broad arrow shape. Then start and go round off all the corners to give it a more spherical shape. Making sure to take little cuts, as if you take little cuts and mess up, it's easier to fix than if you take big cuts and mess up. Once the head is shaped, go to the back of the deer hair clumps and cut straight down, leaving a nice slick drop off. Go around the hook, cutting the excess deer hair. You might need scissors to get any stray fibers. Now go ahead and take your razor blade and kind of round off that edge. So it kind of comes up at a 45-degree angle and then rounds off. Now go to some rubber legs. Cut a section that's about 3 inches long, and then strip 4 rubber legs from that section, and separate them. Then take a needle and drive it back to just just before the back of the deer hair head. Then use small monofilament to thread through the eye of the needle and make a loop. Then thread one of the rubber legs tip first through that mono loop and pull it through the eye of the needle. Just a little bit. And then pull it through the deer hair head. Pull the rubber leg so it's about even on each side. Now advance your needle to about halfway into the deer hair head and spear it again. Then do the same with the mono loop. Now, cut the legs so they're about 1.5 hooks in length. Now, to give the head a consistency of a cork head, coat the head in super glue. Not gel, regular super glue that's liquidy, as the gel will not seep through the fibers. Make sure to encompass the whole head, even in between the rubber legs. This will make the fly durable and give it a nice splat on the water when you cast it. You can cut any abnormal dries in the super glue after it's done drying. Then go to some yellow marabou. Select the quill, pull off all the fuzzies, and go up to the tips, and start pulling off the straight fibers to where you get a nice fluffy straight clump that comes off kind of at an edge. Now start your 6-aught uni in black, right at the back of the deer hair head. And cut the tag end off clean. Take the marabou and measure a tail about 1.5 times the hook shank in length. Cut that length off and tie it right behind the deer hair head and advance it to where the hook starts to bend. Then grab your other 2 rubber legs. Fold one of the rubber legs over and tie it on the far side, pushing it back over the bend of the hook with thread wraps, like so. It should become part of the tail. Then go ahead and cut those to just longer than the marabou tail. Now, go to some black chickaboo hackles. Cut off 2 nice, about even fiber length feathers. And then strip all the fuzzies off of each stem. Now, with those feathers, line up the tips, and with the shiny side facing you, tie those tips together on the hook shank. And bring your thread right up to just behind the deer hair head. And while pushing the fibers back, take touching wraps up to the deer hair head. Really compress those fibers back. When you reach bare stem, which is about 4 or 5 wraps, take counter wraps of thread to secure the hackle. Once secured, go ahead and cut the stems off close. Then you can go ahead and do a whip finish, making sure not to trap any fibers or the head, or breaking your thread on the head. And then go ahead and cut your thread off clean. Now go to some white and black nail polish. Now first, take some white nail polish, and at the very end of the head, go ahead and make an ovally shaped eye on the far side, and then to do the same to the near side. Once that is dried, go ahead and take now the black nail polish and make a pupil at the end of those eyes, near the eye of the hook. And that's it. That's the fly.